So, hello friends, our next topic is community ophthalmology. In community ophthalmology, we'll be discussing first of all blindness. So, friends, blindness, if we talk about strict ophthalmological terms, in ophthalmological terms, blindness means strictly a no PL, okay, strictly a no perception of light. But WHO has given a uniform criteria in year 1972 where it said that visual acuity, which is best corrected visual acuity, less than 3 by 60 on Snellen's chart or its equivalent would be considered blindness. Now, in absence of this Snellen's chart, we can just say that a visual field less than 10 degrees will also be counted as blindness. Okay, so WHO said that in 1972 visual acuity less than 3 by 60 on Snellen's chart would be considered blindness, and visual field less than 10 degrees is also blindness. Now friends, if somebody is illiterate or your Snellen's chart is not available, then finger counting at 3 meters will also be considered as blind eye. Okay, so this is your definition of blindness. Now friends, apart from this definition which is given by WHO, we have certain other definition of blindness which can be your potential questions. So we have a social blindness, we have a legal blindness, and we have economic blindness. So social blindness is also similar to the normal definition of blindness, which is visual acuity less than 3 by 60. Legal blindness is visual acuity less than 1 by 60, and economic blindness would be less than 6 by 60. So guys, you have to learn all three of them. Now, economic blindness has a better parameters because we consider that if somebody has a visual acuity less than 6 by 60, it would be definitely difficult for him to earn bread and butter. Okay, so that is why the name economic blindness. Now, friends, apart from this, WHO has also given some categories of visual impairment. So WHO says that if your visual acuity lies in between 6 by 6 to 6 by 18, it will be considered a normal vision. Okay, so this will be normal vision on Snellen's chart. Now again, they have definitions of visual impairment. Now visual impairment grade number 1 will be visual acuity from 6 by 18 to 6 by 60, and visual acuity of 6 by 60 to 3 by 60 is visual impairment grade number 2. So this is your severe visual impairment and this is your mild visual impairment. Okay, so you must remember all of them. Now blindness, as we have again revising, it is finger counting less than 3 meters or visual acuity less than 3 by 60. And grade number 5, they have said that it is no light perception. In between, from visual acuity less than 1 by 60 to light perception would be considered grade 4 or category 4. Now, after that, friends, whenever we have somebody blind in our country or in world, we can give some visual impairment or visual disability certificates. So we should know what is the level of impairment, what is the level of disability in that patient. So there is a uniform criteria which is being used, which has almost 6 categories of visual impairment. So this is the percentage of impairment depending upon the vision in both the eyes. So it's very easy to remember some of the grades here. I'll tell you how to remember. Now here we have 6 categories, and the 6 categories have 20, 40, 75, 100 and 30 percentage of visual impairment. Okay, so it is once whatever vision is in your better eye and you compare it with the vision in the worst eye. Now friends, when you have a one-eyed patient, that this eye, the worst eye, is blind. Okay, so obviously the visual acuity would be no PL or at least less than 3 by 60, and one eye is absolutely normal. So this would be a 30% of impairment. Okay, so very simple to remember, one-eyed patient will be 30% impairment. Okay, so this will be your category. Now next is when you have poor vision in both the eyes. So how to remember? You have 200% categories of visual impairment where the worst eye is almost nil, and here again you have blindness. So blindness would be less than 3/60 here and also less by 360 here. Okay, so when you see that visual acuity is very poor, blindness in worst eye, and obviously visual acuity is less than 3/60 in better eye also, that makes the patient 100% visually disabled. Okay, so both of them would be 100%. Now let's talk something about this 20%. 20% impairment means the patient has good enough vision at least in one eye. So how can you remember? A vision less than 20/60 here and better than 20/60 to 20/120. So this will be your 20%. 40% will have a poor vision less than 6/60 to less than 6/60 in the worst eye and better than 6/60 in one eye. So again you can remember that. Now here this would be your 20/400 to nil, and this you can leave, you can just leave this one 75%. If you remember rest of the things, you can easily find out what is the remaining. So this is your percentage impairment that can be asked to you as a question. Now coming back to our blindness thing, you have some numbers here. Now, at present, the WHO has estimated almost 180 million people are visually disabled and almost 45 million are actually blind. Now, in this whole thing, almost 80% blindness is avoidable. Okay, avoidable blindness is another term which one should know. Now, guys, avoidable blindness has two components, either a curable blindness or a preventable blindness. Okay, so avoidable blindness means either it could be treated, cured, or it could be prevented. Now again let me elaborate it. Curable blindness means a treatable blindness. Now for example, a person develops a cataract. Now obviously when you do a cataract surgery, the patient will get his vision back, isn't it? So this is a treatment for him. So this is a case when you have a cataract, do a cataract surgery, it will be cured and the patient gets his vision back. Now what about preventable blindness? Now consider the patient has developed an infective trachoma. Now if you treat infective trachoma, it will be considered a curable thing. But if you give proper sanitary measures or proper hygiene to that patient and you prevent development of trachoma, it will be the preventable kind of measures which you have taken for a particular disease. Okay, so now this will be called as preventable. Now another example of this preventable kind of blindness is vitamin A deficiency related corneal blindness. Now friends, we know that vitamin A deficiency is very prevalent in our part of the world. So if we give proper prophylaxis for vitamin A deficiency will not occur, and obviously the blindness related to that will not be there, isn't it? So this is the concept of avoidable blindness. Now if you talk about the terms, about 32% of the world's blind people, you have such kind of blindness which has to be treated. Okay, now friends, there is a huge difference between the causes of blindness in the developed countries and in the developing countries. Now if we talk about the major time thing, in a whole, cataract is the main cause of blindness worldwide. We all know that. Refractive errors is the most common cause of ocular morbidity. We all know that. But if we talk about separately about the developed countries, you'll be surprised to know that it is age-related macular degeneration, which is the most common cause of blindness in the developed part. And glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy and cataract are the most common remaining cause. But if we talk about the developing countries, the scenario is very different. Cataract is the main cause, as we know. Infectious diseases like trachoma, xerophthalmia, injuries to the eye, glaucoma and onchocerciasis are the various relevant causes apart from cataract. Okay, so the scenario is very different. Now, if we just enumerate and we just see the numbers throughout the world, cataract is by and large the main cause of blindness worldwide. After that, we have glaucoma, we have trachoma, childhood blindness, which includes vitamin A deficiency, retinopathy of prematurity, injuries, and so on. Onchocerciasis, river blindness, also has a major contribution, and other causes, they do have a role. Now, friends, WHO has worked a lot for that. Okay, so WHO started a it launched a program which was Vision 2020 in a coalition with a task force of organized international non-government organization. Basically, to tackle the gigantic problem of blindness, WHO launched a global initiative with various NGOs throughout the world, and the program was started in Geneva in 1999. Now, the various partners of Vision 2020, apart from WHO and the other NGOs, are International Agency of Prevention of Blindness, Christopher Blindness Mission, Helen Keller International, Orbis International, Sight Savers International, Al Noor Foundation, International Federation of Ophthalmic Societies, Lions Club International Foundation, Operation Eyesight Universal, and the Cartel Center. Guys, it's very difficult to remember all of them. At least you can remember that UNICEF is not there. Okay, so UNICEF is not there, which can be a very potential question. Okay, so these are the various NGOs which work in collaboration with WHO for this Vision 2020 program. Now, friends, the main objective is to eliminate the avoidable blindness by the year 2020 and to reduce the global burden of blindness. And it works as in through the 5-year plans, and this is the fourth phase of this Vision 2020 program that we are in. Now, the various strategic approaches are diseases prevention and control, training of the eye health personnel, strengthening of the existing eye care infrastructure, which is very important, use of the appropriate and affordable technology, and mobilization of resources. So these are the basic strategies how they work together. Now, the target diseases, as we know, they are, the mnemonic which I have made for them is TORCH. Now, this is trachoma, onchocerciasis, which is also called as river blindness. R is your refractive errors, C is your cataract, and H is your childhood blindness. So these are the basic 5 disorders which are the targeted disorders to be tackled in Vision 2020 program. Now, the strategic plan is very important to understand. The strategy goes through the primary prevention phase, the secondary prevention, and tertiary prevention. Let us understand what these are. Primary prevention means basically you prevent occurrence of the disease at the first instance. Okay, you don't let the disease to occur in a particular area. Now, it could be dealt mainly by the community workers. Okay, isn't it? You prevent occurrence of the disease, so you give proper measures so that the disease does not occur. You educate various community workers and you train them so that they go and make the people aware so that they adopt good measures of life, and hence the blindness does not occur. Okay, now secondary prevention. Secondary prevention is when you treat the disease which has occurred and you prevent occurrence of blindness. Okay, so this is basically treatment of disease which has occurred, and for that you don't want blindness to occur, and here you prevent blindness. So this is your secondary prevention. Now, the tertiary prevention is when the blindness is occurring, the disease is occurring, the blindness is ensuing, and you are giving measures for restoration of sight. Okay, so this is also important. You should know tertiary prevention. Now, restoration of sight could be in cases of corneal blindness. You can do surgery as in penetrating keratoplasty. You can replace the cornea, and you can give keratoprosthesis, something like that is your tertiary prevention. Now, Vision 2020 works, or any other program, it can work like two strategies. It could be a disease oriented approach, like you have cataract, you have trachoma, you take one disease in account and you treat the disease particularly. Okay, you make strategy treating that particular disease in a particular area, particular community, particular city or state. So it could be a disease oriented approach, or it could be a service oriented approach. Now, the service oriented approach is by the primary care service, secondary care service, or the tertiary care service. Now, friends, primary care service is like you do a primary prevention kind of thing, which is mainly done at the community level. Okay, so you go to the rural areas, you have some people, you have collaborated NGOs, you train community people, volunteers, make aware about the disease occurrence to the patients. So they can go to the areas, they can commute, they can educate the people, we can arrange the camps, give proper hygienic methods, give proper primary prevention, make the people understand about the small things or small pathologies of ophthalmology, so that things cannot be, become very problematic, so that they are not treated by clinicians when they approach them. So primary care service is basically done through the community workers. Okay, so they have been educated about the common problems, like they can identify ophthalmia and unitorum, they can identify nasolacrimal duct obstruction, they can identify early infective trachoma. So they can have a referral system, they can at least send the patients to a clinic, to a hospital, to the base hospital, referral hospital, and then the patient will be taken care of. Okay, so the secondary care service is done by small clinics. Okay, small ophthalmology clinics where you have an ophthalmologist, where you have a general practitioner. People are aware of treatment of simple ophthalmological pathologies. Okay, here you can be given facility, you can give facilities about the small surgeries, like cataract surgeries can be dealt off. Okay, now tertiary care service is a higher referral areas. Okay, these are the referral institutes, the central institutes, or the major eye hospitals where you have properly trained staff, you have all the equipments, where you can do modern refractive surgeries, even where you can do treat for posterior segment surgeries, any kind of ophthalmological problems can be dealt off. Okay, so this is how the strategy goes on. Now, apart from this Vision 2020, we have another very important program which was started in February 2001. This is another global initiative for prevention of blindness. This is Vision for the Future, VFTF. Now, you can have questions on that VFTF was started by what? So, it was started not by WHO, but it was started by International Council of Ophthalmology. Okay, now this is not, this is together with Vision 2020 program. It is not collaborated, but it goes parallel, it works together with WHO, and it has its own perspective, but they are dealing together with the same problem to treat the patients of avoidable blindness. Okay, so this is your Vision for the Future. Now, next important is your NPCB, the National Program of Control of Blindness. Now, you will love to know that India was the first country who started this national program for control of blindness. It was way back in year 1976, and it was earlier 100% centrally sponsored program. Now, guys, before that, we already had a trachoma control program, and we also had a vitamin A prophylaxis program, which were together, incorporated in this national program of control of blindness. Now, since 1976, the NPCB has got various changes in its implementation, in its name, in its programming, in its strategy, and so on. So the main objective earlier was that they wanted to provide a comprehensive eye care facility for all primary, secondary, and tertiary level. And the main objective was to reduce the prevalence of blindness from 1.38 to 0.31 by the year 2000. Now we are still running this program, but the program has got several changes as we have discussed. So in year 2006 to 2007, a rapid survey on avoidable blindness which was conducted, it showed that there was a reduction of prevalence from 1.1 to 1%. Now, when this Vision 2020 program was launched by WHO, NPCB just incorporated this program in itself. And the initiative was the same, to eliminate avoidable blindness by the year 2020. So we are still running with this program. Now, what are the current goals? What are the current objectives? So basically, this is a very, very important slide. You should know that mainly it is now to reduce the backlog. Okay, we have a long backlog of things which is to be done now. Okay, so to reduce the backlog of blindness first, which has to be done at all levels, at primary, secondary and tertiary level. Okay, so we provide a good quality service which includes a comprehensive eye care package. Now we have to strengthen and upgrade the regional institutes of ophthalmology. This is a prime thing. We want that regional institutes of ophthalmology should be there and they should be upgraded with all those modern facilities. Now we want that your community awareness should also be there, because these are the ones who can prevent the occurrence of the disease. Now we want more and more voluntary organizations, more NGOs to come up to help us in provision of that. And we want that we want that our research program should be enriched, your research things should be encouraged. Now, since a long time we have seen various changes. Now, in the middle of the century, we had, not middle of the century, but like in the middle of this program, the government of India changed the definition of blindness from 3/60 to less than 6/60. But again in 2017, we were back to the same definition which was adopted by WHO. So again, we have the same definition. Now again, the definition of blindness in India is visual acuity less than 3/60. Now with this definition, the people who are blind in our country have reduced down from 12 to 8 million. But the idea remains the same, that we have to control the blindness, and the name is changed from National Program of Control of Blindness to the National Program of Control of Blindness and Visual Impairment. So visual impairment, which is less than 6/18, we want to cure that strata of population also who have visual impairment, not a blindness. Now currently the program is in the 12th fifth year plan. Okay, now this has been approved by your Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and this was from 2013 to 2018. Now we have a new report also which is just awaiting. So National Program of Control of Blindness is now being a part of non-communicable disease, which is now again a big umbrella of National Health Mission in this 12th fifth year plan. Okay, so these are the changes which have been there in this program, and this organizational structure is also important. Friends, this program runs under the following hierarchy. So we have central areas, we have state, and we have various districts. Now the central means that this is being taken care of by the DGHS. Okay, so DGHS is the boss. Now state ophthalmic cell and the Director of Health Service is the boss here. And now the programs runs in various districts. So the District Blindness Control Society takes care of everything. So we have primary levels, we have secondary levels, and we have tertiary levels, which will be dealing later on. So the functioning is basically through the District Health Society in each district of the countries, which will be monitored by the state, and the further things will be proceeded by the DGHS. Okay, so this is how the functioning is done. The final implementation of the program is by the District Program Manager of the District Health Society. Aim again, it is just to reduce the current blockade of the avoidable blindness. Now here, now we want that at least 66 lakhs cataract surgeries should be done. Now we want to strengthen the school eye screening program as well, by which we can distribute almost 9 lakh free glasses per year. And we plan that we should collect at least 50,000 donated eyes per year to strengthen our eye banks also. Okay, so these are the few things which we should have in our NPCB. Now we also are planning that we should distribute free spectacles for presbyopic people and development of this new thing, multi-purpose district mobile ophthalmic units, okay, which help us in primary healthcare. Now teleophthalmology is one thing which is being incorporated in the current 12th plan, that you have modern ophthalmologic consultation units which are being set up in all major hospitals and at least the regional institutes of ophthalmology. So this is again important. Now from that reach out approach, we are now focusing into the reach in approach. Now what is this reach in approach? Reach in approach means that your community health workers, your volunteers, we should go to that remote rural areas where the people are not educated. So we want awareness to spread to them. We want to hold camps at that particular area, and we go to those remote areas, catch the patients there, and then treatment will be given to the base hospitals. Okay, so this is your reach in approach which is nowadays being preferred. Now friends, the target diseases in our NPCB, in our Vision 2020 program, are little different from there in the world. So we don't have onchocerciasis here. River blindness is not prevalent in our country, so we have eliminated onchocerciasis, and instead of that we have included diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and we have corneal blindness here. Okay, so these are the three things which we have included in our Vision 2020 program. So this could also be your potential question. What are the target disorders in our country for Vision 2020 programs? You will be happy to know that under the Global Elimination Trachoma program, GET 2020 program, India has already been declared trachoma free. So we are not having any infectious trachoma nowadays. Okay, so this program got its targeted aim in 2017 already. Now friends, apart from that, if we list the major causes of blindness, cataract remains the main. Refractive error is very important, and also this is the most common cause of ocular morbidity worldwide. So morbidity is not blindness, it is just that the patient have a problem related to eye. Now, corneal blindness, glaucoma, surgical complications, PCO formation, posterior segment disorders are another causes of blindness in India. Now, if we see this pyramid, this is the most important chart here. This is the work pyramid which has been given by WHO. So this should be incorporated in every national program of control of blindness. These are the norms which we should have in our program. We should work accordingly. So let us understand what is this pyramid. So the lowest part of this pyramid is the primary level vision centers. Now primary level vision centers mean that they have facilities for primary eye care. Okay, so you may not have an ophthalmologist here, but you may have a mid-level ophthalmic assistant. So this is your MLOA. This is a new term which was given by WHO, mid-level ophthalmic assistant. So these could be your optometrist or some trained individual which have been trained about basic eye pathologies, who have been given training for refractive purposes. Okay, so they can carry out basic refraction, they can identify some simple ophthalmic problems, and they have a high referral system. So screening and referral services are very important part of that primary level vision centers. Okay, so they can do refraction, they can give prescription of glasses, and it is like school eye screening program should also be done by these people. So this is your primary level vision centers. Now according to WHO norms, they should be 20,000 such primary level vision centers, and each primary level vision center should cater a population of about 50,000 people. Okay, so this is an important question. How many primary level vision centers should be there for a people? So for 50,000 people you should have one primary level vision center. Now little higher up at the secondary level we have service centers. Now service center means those areas, those centers which have facility for at least treatment of cataract. Okay, so they can do primary level treatment, they can do cataract surgeries, they can do some minor ailments, they can do treatment for some other small pathologies, they can obviously carry out refraction, they can give your free glasses, they again have a referral service. Now like you, if there's a patient who needs a posterior segment surgery, so there should be a proper referral system that patient can be referred to a higher center. So according to WHO norms, there should be at least 2,000 service centers, and this should cater a population of at least 5 lakh individuals. Okay, so for each 5 lakh people you should have one service center. This is the question. Now after service center you should have training centers. Now training, as the name suggests, you should have facilities for training. Okay, so you should be able to do training. So all the medical colleges lie in the training centers where you can educate doctors, you can train doctors for ophthalmology, and you can create more people in ophthalmology. So you can have CMEs there, you can have better eye related services, treatment of major disorders, minor disorders for ophthalmology. According to WHO, you should have 200, and each should take care of about 5 million population. Okay, so for 5 million people you should have at least one training center. The last comes the center of excellence, the regional institutes of ophthalmology. Okay, so these are the center of excellence which have all the facilities, modern technology, modern well equipped machines, you have all the trained staff, you have so many ophthalmologists, qualities of professional leaderships, you can carry out CMEs, you can do research work there, and you can train people under your own. So according to WHO norms, you should have at least 20 regional institutes of ophthalmology. So we are trying and making, and we are about to achieve that target. Now the Apex Institute, which lies on the top, is your Rajendra Prasad Institute, that is AIIMS in New Delhi. Okay, so this is your Vision 20 by 20. Now we are almost done with that National Program of Control of Blindness and then Vision 2020 stages. Now there was a recent report which was given in October 2019, which was conducted by Rajendra Prasad Institute, again AIIMS Delhi, and there was some highlights of that survey which was conducted in 31 districts of 24 states in our country. Guys, it's not easy to do such kind of survey about blindness, but it was done recently, and in absolute numbers they found that people who were blind earlier in 2006-2007, from 12 million they have reduced to 4.8 million. That's a good news, isn't it? Now it was found that the prevalence of blindness is lowest in Thrissur in Kerala. So again, an important question they can ask you, which place has the lowest prevalence of blindness according to the recent survey? And visual impairment, which is lowest in Manipur, Thubal. Now Bijnor in UP has been found to have the highest prevalence of both blindness and visual impairment. So Bijnor is another thing which you should remember. Now cataract still remains the main cause of blindness, very high up, 66.2% is the proportion of blindness amongst all the cause. Now it is also being found to be the most common cause of visual impairment. Now it is found that about 6 millions of cataract surgeries are conducted every year in India, with a cataract surgical rate of 4,800 surgery per lakh population. So friends, that's an important question. What is this cataract surgical rate? The cataract surgical rate is basically the number of cataract surgeries to be performed per million population per year. Okay, so this is about 4,800 surgeries per 10 lakh population. So this is an important question. This is an important parameter by which we can realize whether the implementation is going on smoothly, going on per norms or not. Now, two important things which you should always remember as a clinician, that National Eye Donation Fortnight is from 25th August to 8th September, and the World Sight Day is observed on every second Thursday or of October every year. Okay, so these two things you should always know. Now, a few words about vitamin A supplementation program and school eye health screening. Vitamin A supplementation program is, obviously, we provide vitamin A in 9 doses, which starts from 6 months to 59 months onwards. Okay, so this is the age from 6 months to 6 years. We have to give vitamin A supplementation in almost 9 doses every 6th month. Now, the dosage is, when the child is from 6 months to 12 months, you have to give 1 lakh international unit orally. And if the child is more than 1 year to 6 years, you have to give 2 lakh international unit orally. Okay, so this is important. Now, it has been linked to measles immunization also. Now, school eye screening is also important. It has been given nowadays in all schools. Government of India is increasing the utilization of the school teachers for identifying visual impairment, low vision in school going children, because that is the time when actually we should treat them. So they are being trained to identify people who don't have good vision. So here 10 to 14 years of age are the students which are screened, and it is preferred that one should have a female science teacher who's already wearing the glasses herself. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you very much.